Yo, you know what? I try not to get too political when it comes to hip hop and what people do with their gifts. And but lately, it's really started to get me to thinking. I mean, being in hip hop for over 40 plus years and seeing how humbly it started and what it was supposed to be, and then you hear people talk about hip hop culture and it's really interesting because I don't think anybody really knows what the hip hop culture is. I mean, is it gangster rap where you teach? Is the culture that you become the gangster who kills your own neighbor and brags about it? And or is it music just to make people have fun and a good time? Or is it promoting and marketing that you overly sexually active as a woman and you know what I mean, and you're whatever the hell type of music that people are putting out that influences young people. I know one thing, it's not something you can just do at the playground anymore because when we did music, there were little kids running around. So either we were as socially conscious as we could be, or we're basically more focused on everybody having a good time. But it's interesting just when I see somebody that's a billionaire goes on a stage where everybody came to be entertained and have fun and turn it into rap beef. Things that could actually get people hurt, people killed, the whole 9 yards. It's like, Dad, you got $1 billion and you still angry. You still mad. Like, that's what you're gonna spend your time doing? Like, get up on stage and have a rap beef. Go to the Super Bowl and have a rap beef. And people are like, we came to have fun. You're messing my high up. You're messing whatever. And it's just like, so it's really interesting to watch and try to kind of figure out like, okay, well, what is the culture? Is the culture that we kill each other? The culture is that we shoot up the block? The culture is what? Because it didn't really start that way. I mean, hip hop was just something kids did. We went outside, we played music, we found ways to celebrate that music, and some of it was like questionable as to whether or not it was music because people were using samples and rapping the break beats and all that kind of stuff, man. And so it's like, oh, that's not music. So you had like a level of people that looked down on people that were in the hip hop saying it's not music and the whole nine, it's not going to last. And here it is, 40 something years later, still here, 50 something years later, still here. But the way it's evolved is really weird. I mean, it went from being something to do that was fun for kids, and it grew all kinds of things. It grew fashion, it grew dialogue, it grew slang, it turned into TV commercials and TV shows. It just so many things that hip hop that birthed out of the original hip hop of the 70s and 80s. And then all of a sudden, and for most of the people that were involved in hip hop, we were what you call the nerds. Because if you wanted to take words and rap to a beat, you was a nerd. And the cool kids was like, oh, that's corny, you whack. The drug dealers, you corny, you whack. Nobody cared about what drug dealers said back then because they were basically poisoning our community. They'll sell crack to your mother, crack to babies, crack to children, and they'll put guns in 10-year-old kids' hands and have them go murder for. It just was really crazy to how it was just hip hop was our release. It was our freedom. It was our freedom from not having a voice. It was our freedom to go out and let our hair down, so to speak, and just have a great time. And then as the love grew for it, the drug dealer decided he wanted to be a part of it too. The gangster who will beat your grandmom up and take her purse decided she wanted to be part of it too. And so some of the ugliest people in the world turned themselves into rappers. And they took that same mindset and they put it in the rap. And they sold it to babies. The mothers of children started to let their kids listen to rap music that was talking about killing and murdering. Welfare to work happened. So the mothers that did have some type of parental guidance with their kids, they weren't around anymore. They were going to work. So all day long, these kids are being poisoned with gangster music and gangster rap. And they thought that was the life that they should live. It created a nation of children that all they want to do is have beef. All they want to do is argue. All they want to do is fight. And the more negative something is, the more they want to be a part of it. Hip hop it turned from just having fun to now getting people killed, getting people murked, the whole nine. It is so crazy how it has evolved. You know, every time I hear somebody say hip hop culture, I'm like, what's the culture? Which part of the culture are you talking about? You know, is it the gangster culture or is it the entertainment culture? Because for the most part, I think that if somebody gets to a point where they're making millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, to get up on a stage and have beef with people that aren't doing good as you, aren't as big as you, and turn that into beef, and you know, on some old stuff, you should be on to getting your next billion, moving on to getting and moving the needle some more for hip hop. But you just want to stay there. It's like the drug dealer mentality. There were people who celebrate drug dealers because they say, yeah, man, well, what else they gonna do to feed their family? Well, the drug dealers didn't just feed their family. They fed their family, then they went out and bought a $100,000 car, $100,000 watch. They flossing everywhere they go. It's beyond feeding their family. They're not feeding their family anymore. They're just trying to prove that they got more money than the next man. And most of that mentality gets them either killed, gets them either to be high profile in terms of like police know where they are now. You a kid from the projects, now you got a Lamborghini, you going to jail. But the whole mentality, man, that drug dealers bought the hip hop. Most drug dealers did not just want to feed their family. They wanted everything. And they would kill their own neighbor to get it. Now, these are the people that run hip hop. These are the people that are getting the money because it goes along with the narrative that all black people are criminals. And record companies, they just picked it up and ran with it. Anything they can use to pose us in a negative light, they'll use it. Anybody that wants to move in that direction, they're going to pay them. All these gangster movies where the gangster always wins, and you know, where the gangster is so tough, which is mostly lies because most gangsters lose. Most gangsters are snitches or telling their own friends as soon as the heat gets turned up. And they're living this lie and selling this lie, selling it. It's almost like the woman artist, the female artist who preaches be single. You don't need no man. And then a year later, they get married. So you got all these young girls talking about, I don't need no man, I don't need no man, I don't need no man. And then they go get married. And the young girl sitting there like, but it's so embedded in her already. She don't even know how to talk to men, don't know how to get a man, keep a man, talk to a man, has no clue on how to do anything because her hero came from the worst of us. And anybody that lives in the hood knows there's good and there's bad. There's way more good in the hood than bad. It's just the bad is so loud that people think it's all bad. And then they put it in the music. And I'm talking to somebody like, well, music ain't gonna make you hurt nobody. Music ain't gonna, like whatever. If music in church could get you closer to God than gangster music could get you closer to hell. Music that preaches killing, hurting your brother, shooting up the block. Do anything to get money. Anything. You got to have all these material things to be a man. And these young people hear it over and over and over and over and over again. It's in their music. It's bobbing their head. The music is so powerful. Hip hop music is so powerful that white people call themselves the N-word. You tell me that ain't power. You got white people calling each other the N-word. That's how powerful music is. That's how powerful hip hop is. And sadly enough, we make these drug dealers, these ex-drug dealers who hated their own communities, poison their own communities, make this music, and we pay for them and worship them and argue for them like they're heroes. And then we wonder why when they get to a certain level, they don't give back, they don't put back, they don't help. And then some people say, oh, well, yeah, well, they did this thing or that thing. Anybody that's from the hood knows that the most deadliest drug dealers give out a turkey every once in a while. On Thanksgiving, they give people a couple of turkeys, and then they go right back to killing their own community. So just because a billionaire, oh yeah, they did these. No, they did it for taxes. They did it for taxes. They don't really care about the people, because you can tell when they get an opportunity, they don't give people game on how to move themselves further. They go back and focus on beef. And they ain't even got to move the narrative to make things better for other people. A lot of people got to learn how to make money on their own, but they don't have to make it worse. If you're going to stand on the stage in front of people who have hard lives, it's tough, it costs a lot of money to be there, and your focus is beef, instead of making people dance and jam and scream, your focus is beef. So what you did was you separated the audience. You got one part of your audience who like, yo, come on, man, just make me dance. I want to have a good time. Then you got a part of your audience like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Keep it beef, keep it geek, keep it popping, keep it nasty, keep it ugly, keep it whatever. And it's crazy. You got gangster rappers that'll make gangster music, and then they get mad when a bunch of gangsters show up at their show. Club get all shot up. Now they want to get on the mic and say, can we all just get along? They can't get along, brother. You brainwash them into believing that hurting each other is the only way to be hip hop. You got to be nasty. You got to be angry. When I used to first play around with AI, if I ever type, give me a hip hop character, they would all be angry. I'd have to force the AI to make a hip hop character smile. Where I came from, hip hop always made us smile. It always made us laugh. It brought us together. In Philly, one thing hip hop did in Philly, because it was so many groups spread around across the city, when we came together, when we battled as hip hop groups in the 80s, we didn't battle each other personally. We were like the Apollo. We were like the rap group that spends the rap group that entertains the audience the best won the battle. And we did this without looking at our brother man or other man and talking about them. And I'm talking before records. My hip hop history goes before hip hop records was even being made, especially out of Philly, when it was just block parties and rap in the house parties and block parties. And we would battle like in a Hotel Philadelphia and at the Y, at different places in Philly. and nobody attacked one another. As a matter of fact, we had camaraderie. Robbie B, love him. Grandmaster Nell, Caesar, rest in peace. MC Breeze, B-Force, Handmaster Flash, Johnny, C-Fly, Dave. We're all in the same venue in a battle. At the end of the night, Robbie B and them get into some problem because South Philly got in problems with everybody. But Robbie B and they have a problem, and they jump in the back of the B-Force U-Haul truck, and we saved them. We were together. We were together as rap artists. We really stuck together. It was like it was us against the world. So our battles they never get personal. We wasn't rapping about somebody's moms, and we was like rocking the crowd. We were MCs. We were who can get this crowd the hype, the most hype. Who can do that? That was our job. We were public servants as rappers. We showed up and we made your weekend better. If you had a bad week, you knew you could come to a hip hop show and your weekend would be better. We're having fun. We're saying ho. You probably ain't screamed that loud all week long. But when you came to that hip hop party, almost every MC that stood on that mic in Philly made you scream. We made you scream and get all the energy out, all the pressures of the weekend out. That's the real culture of hip hop. It was freedom of expression and entertainment, a release from being broke, from being black, from being poor. It was a release. Now it's turned into artists creating beefs with people and pitting whole cities against each other. Certain people can't go to certain cities because of rap beef. People get murked because of rap beef. So I don't know where this goes. I know the root of it is money. It always is. It always is. And but yeah, like I said, I don't try to get too political, but sometimes, man, this stuff just is just it's so crazy. It is so off the rails. It is so not what hip hop was supposed to be about. It really isn't. And like I said, when I'm old, 40 years in hip hop, a lot of people making up what hip hop was, saying what they think it is, changing the narrative so that they could find some way to give them an edge over somebody else. They're not moving hip hop forward. They're moving themselves forward. They're moving themselves forward. You can't go back to the 80s and find real rap beef between artists. Artists making records, dissing another artist in Philly. That's not what we did. That's not what we did. And a lot of it is because we, again, we're public servants. As we started to get names for ourselves, we're talking about a person in the project. It didn't matter where you came from. We started making names for ourselves. And as we grew, our community supported us. And then we just wanted to do what our community needed. So yeah, man, it's odd. And it's an odd situation just to watch hip hop and where it's gone. Just to see somebody stand on a major stage and their focus is the beef when they got more money than everybody. It's like, damn. But then you think about it. Was that artist a drug dealer who didn't care about his community from the beginning? I know, shots fired. Bop, bop. Didn't care about his community from the beginning. Selling crack to babies, pregnant women, moms, getting little tiny kids murdered and killed to sell drugs. Did he care about the community in the beginning of his rap career? No, he didn't. Certain artists, once they reach a certain level, they don't belong to us anymore. They don't belong to the hood anymore. They don't belong to us. And then there's the artists who didn't belong to us in the beginning because all they did was cause hurt to people through selling drugs and drive-by shootings and all the kind of crazy stuff that goes along with that profession. And then they start making music. What do you expect? What do you expect them to bring onto stage? But more hate, more grief, more hurt. The beautiful thing is just watching the comments, how some people, like, they know what's going on. They know that this music is supposed to divide us. They know that it's not good to see all this pain and hurt. There are so many freaking sidewalks in the inner city that are paved with the blood of young people who believe that this music and where it has come to should be their way of life, you know? So, you know, I know to some of you, I'm just another old, angry, bitter hip-hop dude. To some people, they understand the culture and they respect where we came from and what we built and why we built it. They're going to be on another side, and there's some more division. I just hope that we can all find something that makes us all happy and that we can all proudly say is ours. And that's it, man. MC Breeze. That's how I feel today. My Breezeism for the day is focus on the things that make you happy. And the things that don't, they're the ops. The things that don't make you happy are your ops. Trust me. You'll live better. You'll live longer. Hopefully you'll get to 62 if you're young. Hip hop forever, man. Peace. I'm out. Fist bump.